Hey Sea Dragons, welcome to another art project video. This video is going to be about surface design. I have a few pictures to show you to help you understand what surface design is. Let's go check those out. To understand surface design, let's start with the word surface. We're just talking about a flat page or piece of fabric. A surface that a surface designer would be making a drawing for would usually be like a roll of fabric or a print for a product. You'll see some more of these in a second. And a design means it's a drawing that an artist or designer creates, and that drawing is going to be built or made by somebody else. So they create the idea and then it gets made. So there's some examples here of some surface designs, like this house pattern over here. We can see this is made so that this group of buildings will repeat again. We can see this building is again here. These buildings are again here. Each of these patterns are like that too. And this flower pattern here, this flower is repeated over here. We can see that same one. The pink flower is the same. So they repeat in a regular pattern, but it's just more complicated probably than a lot of patterns we've drawn before. But the idea is a surface designer would work on the computer to create this pattern, then it gets printed onto fabric to become things like clothing. Surface design is really big in fashion. It's great for making an exciting piece of clothing to wear. We see some dresses and some suits here where this pattern designed by a surface designer would be printed onto a roll of fabric. Then the designer would, or the fashion designer would then cut out the fabric that they've chosen to create a suit or a dress to wear. Some very interesting colors and shapes going on in each of these patterns. And we see surface design patterns in lots of other products, like on skateboards, backpacks, and wallpaper. Anything that can be printed, it's really helpful to have a pattern design that can be, it can fill that space to make it interesting instead of having to make all areas of a surface something different. You can repeat the same thing, and it's actually really pleasing to our eyes. For some reason, human eyes just like to have a pattern. We like to know what to expect, and it looks very attractive with a few colors and the same shape over and over. There's something that most people like about having a good pattern on something. Today we're going to try out the job of surface designer. And you can make anything you want for your pattern. We saw donuts, we saw planets, we saw flowers. You could do a cat or a favorite animal for your pattern. I like to choose something that's kind of inspired by something I've seen recently. I draw patterns in my sketchbook pretty often, and usually it's because, say there's a flower that has just grown up in my garden, I want to look at that flower and create a pattern of that. Or maybe I saw a bird as I was out walking that I thought was really interesting, and I didn't know its name, so it kind of caught my eye. So those kinds of things are how I get inspiration for a pattern. So maybe you can think of something that you enjoy, like riding a bike, or a favorite food, or a favorite animal that can inspire your pattern. I don't know exactly how I'm going to make my pattern yet, so I'm going to do a little bit of practicing over here. And the idea I want to try out is making an earthworm pattern, because I think that would be kind of fun and weird, and it's inspired by me working outside. Now that I've practiced and I think I've figured out how I want my pattern to be, I'm going to go to a new paper and I'm going to draw my pattern all over, and then I'm going to make like a shirt shape. It's going to be kind of like the shirt I'm wearing today, and I'll draw that so it kind of takes a piece out of my pattern to be the product that it would be printed on. There's my pattern. That took a while. So now I'm going to draw around it and make my shirt shape. Like I said, kind of like the one I'm wearing today. So let me see. I'm going to draw the collar up here. Kind of pretending like I'm cutting a piece of fabric out that has this pattern all over it. Now I'm going to scribble out the parts outside of the shirt and color in this part. Okay, here's my earthworm shirt. What do you think? Do you think people would buy this? So when you put your artwork onto Seesaw, I'd like to know what the product is that you designed and how did you get your idea for your pattern? Can't wait to see what you all do. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll see you later.